Time to react to the news, chat. Game time.
I think it's fair.
Really what we're all here for. Let's get into it. Yeah, let's get into it. I still can't believe this is actually real. Heroic said, huh? All right, so if you guys missed it, cadiaN to Astralis, Rifler and IGL. So he's not opping. So that's step one. Step two, I just would love to have been a fly on the wall, like when this conversation was had. You know what I mean? I just really wish I could have been there, like for that moment, just to see like everybody's faces. Because, you know, they probably didn't get into a room, right? Like it was more like at some point, somebody probably from Astralis management was like, okay, what if we got cadiaN? And then Stout and Yabby were just like, that's how I'm picturing this going down. Just the absolute fucking despair and shock. Okay, so me being outside looking in, I feel like it's very easy to just kind of like, you know, farm and be like, oh, dude, you know, I do think that this is going to be a weird dynamic, but I also think it won't be a problem right away. Funny enough, I think in a way, cadiaN gets to say, I told you so, but so do they. Like, they're because remember, it's not just Stout and Yabby that have been shit since they went to Astralis, and Astralis has gotten worse, Heroic's gotten worse. cadiaN didn't do well on Liquid. They all collectively have failed without each other. They've all gotten worse without one another. So in a way, it's, you know, kind of wholesome. Let's just skip all me trying to farm some drama out of it and actually break it down a little bit. First thing I'll say is it makes sense, as annoying as it is. I mean, I would not have predicted this. I absolutely would have not predicted this. But if they're going to stay as a Danish core, if they're going to stay as a Danish team, like this actually makes sense. So why does it make sense? cadiaN's op look like ass, dude. I like cadiaN a lot. He's one of my favorite players to watch. In CS2, his op was looking like me out there. Okay. Bro was looking like me out there. That's him going to the rifle, I think, is the natural evolution of his career. Two, obviously, I think Stout and Yabby maybe had to like accept some things that he was doing, and the way that he envisioned the game and played the game wasn't necessarily bad for them. He was a rifler to begin with, right? I mean, every player has played a bunch of roles probably at some point throughout their career. HooXi, you know, I saw some people just now mentioning HooXi. I just think HooXi doesn't, I don't know. If somebody said, would you rather have HooXi or cadiaN? I'd personally probably rather take the gamble on cadiaN rifle. I think that's how I'd feel. If Stout and Yabby weren't like weird about it and cadiaN isn't weird about it. And I say that just because they have previous chemistry together. Like this isn't going to be a system where cadiaN has to come in and like explain things again. Device is going to basically be left on his own to do whatever he wants because cadiaN got to do that within his own system. Stalin is used to secondary IGLing with cadiaN. The thing that's the worst part about this roster, and this definitely wouldn't have gotten better with HooXi, by the way. The anchor situation with them, I believe they're removing Bro, right? Yeah, so they're benching Bro. That's where things for me actually get the weirdest is what is this going to look like in the bomb sites on the CT side? Because them keeping Stare, I imagine he's going to pick up that role, but cadiaN's gonna have to be moving a lot, and so is Stalin. And Yabby does anchor. I don't know how many positions he actually anchors. I wonder if that spreadsheet still exists. It's gonna be weird. I think so. On the CT side, I think HooXi was a massive liability, and I'm not saying cadiaN won't be. It's just you for sure know that HooXi struggled like on CT side when he was individually left on small sites. I don't think anybody would try to tell me he wasn't. So like removing all the, you know, stabby moments out of this equation and trying to strictly stick to Danish Counter-Strike, your options were probably HooXi or cadiaN. And I just think for Astralis' sake, there's a lot of the knowns with cadiaN are actually positives with the players that you have, and his unknowns, you just got to wait. Where HooXi, you kind of know exactly what you're getting for better and for worse. Yeah, I think that's why they're just taking this gamble. Not to mention cadiaN is a leader, right? Like if he comes in here, he is a fire up guy. So is Hooksy, but I think cadiaN would be a bit more. And if there's one thing that team could use right now, it's some fire lit under them. So as much as I want to troll and as much as I think that this is absolute cinema in terms of how this is all worked out, I think this is maybe the best move they could have made. Everybody knows how I feel about device IGLing and opping. I think that was an absolute, once again, I think it's fucking stupid. I think that was stupid to begin with. So get it. Now you get to have device freed from the IGL rule. You have stallion and Yabby playing a brand of Counter-Strike that maybe they didn't think was their brand of Counter-Strike, but now realize maybe it should have been. You get cadiaN on the rifle. cadiaN on the rifle, I literally have no idea if he's going to be good or bad. I think he was pretty aggressive as a op, so him taking over aggressive and being like creating space with a rifle on the T side doesn't feel... I don't think that's going to actually be that hard for him, is all I'm trying to say. I don't think that's going to be super unnatural for him. And I don't think as long as he gets to play the rotator spots and he gets to command a lot and he gets to yap and communicate a lot, I think he'll be pretty comfortable. The biggest problem with me when I look at this roster is just who is going to be locking down bomb sites with Stare on the other side. Is it going to be Yabby? Is it going to be like, are they going to split some of the sites? I think if you're throwing cadiaN into some of these anchor spots, it'll be really bad. I don't know Yabby, every single CT position that Yabby plays well enough to have like an informed opinion. But to me, outside, like from my limited perspective on their roles, I just worry about the CT side anchors. I don't really worry about aggression on their T sides. Stare usually will get very involved. And I think cadiaN, with how aggressive he'd be with the op at times, I don't think it's going to be a hard switch for him to be aggressive on T side either. And stallion is usually like a nice follow-up to all of that. Like that's where stallion thrives. Secondary IGL gets to be in the chaos, but like following the chaos, if that makes sense. It's too many cooks in the kitchen. You said stallion was a secondary IGL, but device was just IGL. It's not the same as liquid where you threw people wanting to make calls. No, see, okay. I don't think device will have an issue with that. People like very cut and dry scenarios. And yes, I do think sometimes you have too many cooks in the kitchen but the problem with liquid wasn't that there were 3 voices. It was that there were 3 different voices, right? That was the issue. It was Twist has his way, Ykinder had his way, and Twist and Ykinder kind of lined up more the same. And cadiaN had his way. Right? So I would hope if you're Astralis and you're bringing back cadiaN and Stallion and Yabby are like, yeah, let's bring back cadiaN. I would fucking hope you're going to let cadiaN IGL the way that he wants to IGL and we don't have another liquid situation. I'd be fucking shocked, bro. Now, don't get me wrong. People in esports are really fucking stupid. They are really freaking dumb. So maybe you could be right. But this is a less too many cooks in the kitchen type situation. And I feel like there's no way you're bringing them back. And then you tell them there's no way. There's no way though. Can you tell the backstory for those that don't know the drama? Stallion and Yabby told Heroic that they wanted an cadiaN gone or they would leave. They dropped cadiaN for her Stallion and Yabby on Heroic. And then Stallion and Yabby did the stabby, and then they went to Astralis anyway, and Heroic had already told cadiaN he was let go. So Stallion and Yabby, and those were that's the very short version. How do you move something past something like that? It's so tough. You move past something like that because you're competitors when you get fucked up like that, and people are doing that game. First off, let me just say it to you like this, guys. This is not the first time something like this has happened. Okay? We need to establish this baseline. This is not abnormal. The way that situation I described to you is not like the craziest thing I've ever heard. Okay. I know it might sound stupid and it is, but it's not, man. If I could introduce you to the French Counter-Strike scene really it's all the scenes, like NA does it. All of them are like this. Okay. This shit happens everywhere. This one just happened to be a bit more public. Step 1 is, while this was entirely fucked up and this situation is weird, and now that we know their dirty laundry, It feels weird, but it's really not. Because you know what Counter-Strike players hate most besides getting scummed in some political way or like, you know, who's friendlier with the org or whatever? They hate fucking losing. And guess what? Everybody on the heroic roster in every facet sucks since they all broke up, okay? So they're trying to get the band back together because they all fucking suck. And so they're trying to figure it out. And maybe you just got to take the hit to the ego and say, I was stupid and wrong, and let's just run it back because we were much better together than we were on different teams. And I think that's kind of what we're seeing here. That's how the band got back together, is they all tried to make some music on their own, and it was all awful. There you go. That's caught up. So let's try to recap here. 1, I think it's actually a good move, as psychotic as it is, and as much as I would have never predicted this. I think if you're staying Danish, it was Hooksy or it was cadiaN. And I just think that based on previous experience, whether they have beef or not, or all the other shit that went down, these three had the most success together. Device getting to op again is fantastic. The biggest issue I still see isn't even cadiaN rifling. It's that the anchor situation on CT sides is where things are going to get weird. That's it. I mean, it's going to be fun to watch because I think they're going to play with this roster in less than a week or around a week from now. So it should be good. We're going to get to see it very quickly. We're gonna be able to jump to some wild conclusions based off if it's working or not. Saw it coming when cadiaN was on the casting thing and was doing analysis on Astralis and was pretty neutral or positive on them. Well, like I said, I think a lot of stuff like that too, you know, time definitely helps with those situations. You know, you can't really, you give that shit some time. Everybody kind of reflects a little bit. You can acknowledge that you all suck ass without each other. So you maybe are a bit more open to accepting that you were individually wrong in your choices on both sides. Yeah, it's a classic, right? It's a classic. It's like a shitty Disney movie. I still think the bro being benched is going to be what causes the weirdest things initially. Let me see real quick. Let me see what you guys said about Stalin real quick. Yeah, you don't want to tell us the truth anymore, Stalin, huh? I will say, what a dramatic fucking way to start a fucking statement that was so ass. Anyway, Ray, thanks for the 57-month primer. Thank you. You guys remember that? Don't worry, guys. The basically said the truth will set you free, and then basically didn't tell the truth and then got caught up in shit. It is still absolutely wild. I can't believe we're like, this is the timeline.